Welcome to the Busy Guy Show. My name is Vince LoCascio, and I've got Matt Dubiel here today. He is the owner of WCKG, and he has been called one of the most influential people online. That's a pretty big title, buddy.
They said it a long time ago when there were less people on the internet.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about you, about how you got to this point that you're at. It says you interned for Steve Dahl.
He was the reason, him and the others that were at the mighty loop back in the 80s, the AM loop and the FM loop, which I listened to religiously with my father. We listened to the loop in the car, and even though it was it wasn't designed for me to listen to as a kid, we laughed and we enjoyed it. And those guys, Kevin Matthews, Stephen Gary, Jonathan Brandmeier, and eventually Danny Bonaducci and Wendy and Bill were the people that influenced me and made me want to get into the business. I sort of fell into this Elvis thing back then. I haven't done it since then. But my senior year at Downers Grove North High School, they have this competition, and they call it Mr. Downers Grove North. And it's like, you have swimsuit competition, you have a talent, you have formal wear, and all this other stuff. And I didn't really have a talent. But I loved Elvis. Growing up, I listened to all this Elvis stuff, and I loved Elvis and singing Elvis songs. So I got a jumpsuit. I don't think I used a wig. I think I actually grew my hair out for this. I planned it a year in advance, grew the sideburns, and I sang 2 Elvis songs. And I basically dissected each category so that...
What were they? You remember?
Teddy Bear and Are You Lonesome Tonight? And during Are You Lonesome Tonight, there's like an interlude where he starts talking. He says, I wonder if you're lonesome tonight. So I did that, and I talked to one of the judges, and I got down, and she was one of my teachers. So, someone said the world's a stage. and we had fun with it, everybody. And I was making, a jerk out of myself in a fun way. And somehow, some way after that, somebody asked me to do it at like the Berwyn Festival or Taste of Berwyn. There was like all these Elvises for some Elvis convention.
Where we're at now, okay, it says you were one of the first podcasters.
We're living in these interesting times. We all have radio and TV studios in our pocket. The camera in these things are better than the cameras that aired the, Tonight Show with Ed Sullivan.
So now we made Seinfeld, Letterman, McCartney, Richard, right? Because we talked about that.
Yeah, I think really what those represent is the explosion of content creation from people.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask you from your perspective about is where that's headed.
There's almost, it's like there's too much content in a lot of ways. We saw a video this morning. My wife and I were just, kind of rolling in out of bed and kind of looked at something, and we were looking at a video. My kids will watch these videos of people in native countries where they're digging like a swimming pool or a pond out of clay, and then they're making it with their hands, and you just watch them do all this stuff, and it's like, those are interesting. We watched another one where we looked at each other and we went, like, we just wasted a minute watching this. This was garbage.
That you'll never get, a minute of your life
you'll
never get back.
So there's a lot of garbage, and then there's a lot of really great content, and it stems from everybody having a TV studio. And then what you'll find is, then there's this thing where people feel like they got to get the GoPros and they got to get the cameras to mount into the car to make it interesting or to do whatever they're going to do. And when it comes down to, I believe, it's about, is the content good? Is the conversation interesting? Is the person interesting? Would you be watching comedians in cars getting coffee if Seinfeld wasn't the host and if the comedians were like not all superstars? I don't think so.
Well, I'm not an expert, but it's like there's 3 things. There's the talent.
Yeah.
There's the talent and the message, how the message is being conveyed, and who the receiver is.
Right, but most people focus on all the other stuff. Most people, especially when they're getting started, especially when they're like newbies and they like want a podcast or they want to be a YouTuber or whatever, they focus on, what kind of camera am I going to get? What kind of microphone do I have to get? And a lot of people will get caught up online about like buying little courses and like, how do you get 10,000 Instagram followers and how do you get 1,000 YouTube subscribers and all the nonsense that really is not even secondary. All the things that you mentioned are all the primary things.
Well, that's what I like to believe is, and that's why I like to do a show, is because whatever my message is, my message is you today, okay? And the way to get it to people is through YouTube, through public access TV, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then there's all the people that just sit there and get the receivers. I don't know what the percentages are, but I try to tell, my kids, I said, be the sender of the message instead of just the masses that just sit there and watch. Somebody's got to watch, but somebody's got to produce it too.
Yeah. Yeah. And people are watching more stuff than ever before.
Yeah.
And and I tell my kids this almost every day. I'm like, you're sitting there watching somebody else play a video game. You're watching a video of somebody else playing Fortnite. It's really a good trick if you're a kid, because what you should do then is you watch the video as the kid of somebody else playing Fortnite. So then your parent comes over and says, you should be playing Fortnite. And it's like, no, you tricked me. No, you should be outside.
Yeah.
You should be outside. But rather than watching other people do things, which is what everyone is doing right now, they're watching people eat.
Isn't that moronic?
It is, but it's a big deal. And I think as the future develops and people have less access to maybe good food or good atmosphere, they're really going to want to watch other people eating that good food because they can't afford it. Maybe they're eating top ramen at home for a quarter on the for the package, while they watch some YouTuber eat this great sushi dish that they can't afford, and they feel like they're eating with that person.
One good thing about it is at least they're talking to somebody,
Yeah.
I mean, texting is a joke. People will text sitting next to each other. They say in the business offices, people send an email, to the person sitting at their desk, either maybe because they don't want everybody else to hear them or just because that's the way of the world.
I had my little girl last night. I have 4 kids. It was just myself and my youngest, Stella. We went for a walk in downtown Naperville.
Nice.
Took her to the chocolate shop. She got some macaroons. We went for a little walk. We went to the bookstore. And as we're going back to the truck, well, you and I both have a thing for Toyota trucks. I have a Toyota truck. You have a Toyota truck. We're going back to the truck. We walked past Jimmy's. Have you ever been to Jimmy's in downtown Naperville?
Chart House?
Yeah. It's got a patio. So it's big in the summer and then spring, and people are sitting out there. I walked by and I saw the saddest thing I've ever seen. The patio was filled with people. Most of them were women in their 30s and 40s, and then young girls maybe in their teens and 20s. A couple guys spread in there. None of them were talking to each other.
On the phone.
They were all on their phones. And there was what I wanted to go take a picture of this. Like if Norman Rockwell were alive today, he would be painting pictures. He would paint this picture. It was like one of the girls was like this with her phone. Like, I'm so bored here in this space, in this present moment, and I'm so bored being here that I don't even know what to do with myself. And I thought, you 3 friends are together right now, and this is supposed to be like the magical time of your life, where you're supposed to be bopping around with the windows down and doing the stuff that teenagers and young people do, and you're sitting there looking at a screen. And I just thought, oh.
But
and then we kept walking.
The thought process is that you don't want to be with the person you're with. I don't know.
Or they're always looking for something bigger and better. Yeah. And it's like, here's what I want the young people to realize. Here's what I want the young people to realize. Like, there's nothing better than where you are right now. There's nothing better than being you in this moment right now, or being with the person that you're with right now. And it's cheesy, but it's like there's no better place to be than with the busy guy right now.
Isn't that what Buddhism's all about? Appreciating the moment?
I think so, yeah. Like being present, living in the moment. Amazing things happen when you're living in the moment and you're present, though. You're not thinking about the past and being like, oh, and you're not thinking about the future and being anxious and, oh, I got this and I got this. You're just here. Yeah.
The past is gone, the future's not here yet, and the present is a gift. Ever hear that one?
Yes. Cue the sitar music.
Useless information. What's going on with the towers and stuff and the broadcasting?
I was just on the phone with you. Heard I was just on the phone with the FBI.
Hello.
I can say that, but I can't get into details. But we The station is going well. Things are going well. Things are going great. We last time you and I talked, we just changed AM 1530 WCKG into Fox Sports Chicago. So we have Clay Travis out of Nashville, and Nashville, Tennessee is the next year where the NFL draft will be. Okay. Nashville, Tennessee is also, I think, the number one destination for people moving in the exodus out of Illinois. People are moving to Tennessee.
I'm hearing big time as well.
Yeah, big moves from people from Illinois to Tennessee for some reason. But Clay Travis is there. He does mornings from 5 to 8. Then we got Dan Patrick, and then Colin Cowherd and Rich Eisen, and it's going really well. We're working out the kinks, working out the bugs.
Well, no pun intended. They're channeling through your station. Nobody's coming here to do a show.
Nobody of the big shots are coming here. But now what we're working on is getting people to come in here who want to be big shots. People that want to use our studios and our facilities, people that want a podcast maybe, or want to do a TV show. You do a real TV show. It's on television. But there's people, as you know, that are doing TV shows that are never really on a TV, like Seinfeld and others. But then there's people, you flip on like Facebook and you look in the feeds, and you'll see people sitting at a desk with a microphone doing a radio show on TV. People ask me, you're like, oh, radio, it's tough times for radio. And it's like, are you kidding?
It's getting better.
Radio has never been more popular. Everybody is doing radio everywhere. They're doing it on Facebook. They're doing radio on YouTube. They're doing radio on iTunes. They're doing radio on Spotify. They're doing radio on Netflix. They're doing radio. Dan Patrick's show is a radio show that's on television and on the internet. So what we're going to be using our facilities here for is to give people that want to be big shots a chance to focus on their show. We were talking about microphones and cameras and all that stuff. It's a real drag to have to deal with all that stuff. And a lot of people never get started because they get overwhelmed by, well, what microphone should I get? My answer is, forget all that stuff. Just come in here so you could focus on doing a good show with good topics and fun guests, and you can be you, and then we'll have everybody here, Jim and our team, handle the rest. So we'll be working on that while we have the syndicated guys that are piped in on the radio station.
Yeah, that was a big topic and subject that I was asking you help for, was just what camera to get for the car and stuff.
Yeah.
So I did a little research and looked up the technology that James that used for McCartney, and they opened it up. The back of the car had like massive, hard drives and things like that.
Yeah.
Because I guess theirs is a lot more sophisticated than just one camera. But that can be done. I don't know I didn't look up what Seinfeld's used, but
it can be, and he's got a lot of GoPros in his car. But then they also have a cameraman, and it could go that extreme. People one day may need those things. But when you're just getting started, like a one camera shot, like show the Vince shot right now. Like that's a good shot. You got a great microphone. You got some processing. We're doing it in 1080. That's good enough. Down the road, see, a lot of people, one of the challenges people have is, and this happens to some of the people that do shows in our studios now, they come to me and they say, Matt, how do we get more views? Like, we only got 1,500 views. Only 1,500. Think about that. You did a video, we put it out there, just like that. 1,500 people saw it.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
I mean, from my perspective.
It's a lot. It's more people than watch some television shows. It's more people. CNN doesn't have but a few 100,000 people every month watching that whole TV station. Same with MSNBC and some of those cable networks. So the idea that you can get 100 people to watch it, and you just started. Everybody wants to be like Gary Vaynerchuk and Timothy Ferriss and Seinfeld and all these people that have been at it forever. It's like, call me in 10 years. These people that you think are overnight successes, they had a leg up, they were already halfway up the mountain, or they've been at it for much longer than you know. It didn't happen overnight. Now, that said, there's no better time to get started than right now, because the train is leaving the station. Yeah. And if you don't do it now, you're maybe not going to be able to catch up in 5 years to what everyone else is doing. And that goes for the lawyers, that goes for the doctors, that goes for people in business. Because when there's 100 people that do the same real estate law closing as lawyers, who are you going to hire? You're going to hire the guy you see all the time. You're going to hire the guy you know, like, and trust. And that's going to be the guy or the girl that is in front of you all the time, that you've built a relationship by watching their videos or listening to their shows. So everybody should be doing this.
Well, the marketing, the people they're paying to do their marketing, their tech guys and all that, that's half the battle now.
Yeah.
You know, it's just getting that message out there. I'm reading or listening to a book on CD right now. It's called Old Power, New Power, something like that. But it's about how technology has changed. And just as an example, this guy talks about how the ICE challenge thing got big just from the internet. But there was something I just listened to before I got here. He was saying that big thing was his political movements. Anyways, this guy in India had this political movement going. He had 80,000 followers, whatever it was. And what he did, you know, people were doing it a little bit, listening and following, whatever. So then he decided, and I'm sure you've done it, I know I've done it, called somebody and not leave a message thinking, okay, they'll at least see that I called. They'll see missed call. Missed call is a new thing now. So what he did, he took his message and he says, call and hang up. He got 80 million missed calls. What it also did was create a database of 80 million phone numbers. I'm not making these numbers up.
Wow.
So, you know, where these Seinfelds and James, what's his name, Calder, I keep forgetting his name, is headed is all because is technology. I mean, who knows where we're going to be 10 years from now, 5 years from now.
It's changing fast, and it could be a little intimidating because you sometimes feel like you watch James Corden open up the trunk and you see all the hard drives and all the cameras and all the stuff, and you go like, oh, I can't. That's too much. And It's like, that's a bunch of crap. They have that stuff. They don't need that stuff. None of that stuff is necessary. It's just like being a golfer. You know, there's the saying, it's the golfer, not the clubs. You give Tiger Woods, remember Tin Cup? Did you see the movie Tin Cup?
A lot, but I don't remember.
It's such a great movie. Kevin Costner plays his golf pro, and he plays other people, and he loses his clubs. So he plays with landscaping equipment. He plays with a rake. He plays with a shovel. And he still beats the guy. And that's the mark of somebody who's got some talent or some ability. And then, of course, you give him the Callaway driver or whatever it is, and yeah, he's going to really do well with it. That's going to help him. That 1% difference will really help him. What's really happening most of the time is you got these amateur golfers out there buying pro-level stuff, and it's not going to make a difference for them. And it doesn't matter if you have, this camera in here is better than the camera in most of the GoPros. This camera and this audio and this everything that's in here is better than the TV studios they had for The Tonight Show. And so when you watch an episode of The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, the original, well, not the one that I knew for so many years, not the original, obviously there were other hosts before him, but you watch that and you go, oh, I have more firepower, more horsepower, a better camera, better filters, and better ability to reach people than he did. Oh yeah, this is totally good enough.
Yeah. It's about technology. We should do a show just about Chicago golf.
Are you a golfer?
I love to golf. Speaking of that, what you were talking about, I read a book about a year ago, and it turned out it was a textbook about golf course design. Because when you get up to the hole, and sometimes they get the water here and the trees here, and everybody gets up and goes to the same bad spot. There's a reason that all happens. I'm not an expert on it, but I did read a little bit about it. And it messes with you. It's supposed to.
Misdirection.
Yes, but the reason I'm bringing it up is because it talks about the guy that designs the golf course tries to make it harder for you. The guy that designs the equipment tries to make it easier. But that's a great point about what you're saying is, you could have the greatest clubs in the world or greatest, sound equipment in the world. It's about the message, and the talent that's there.
Yeah, what do you have to say? If you have nothing to say, then, I run into people all the time because I work and consult with a lot of private clients. And a lot of them think they just need to be on Oprah or they need to be on Ellen. They need that one interview pop. Like, you get on Oprah and then you bring your book and then it sells out because Oprah said, buy this book. And number one, that doesn't always happen for everybody that goes on Oprah. Number two, getting on Oprah is not a business plan. Like, number one, it's hard to do it.
A lot more viewers. I mean,
you're going to get it, but you're going to get it one time. And the real question is, what are you going to say when you get on Oprah? What are you going to say when you get on Ellen?
Depends what she asks you.
Well, if you know what to say and you know what you're about, then you're going to do well. If you haven't practiced, and I use this example a lot, the comedians know how to do this. Before they get their act on The Tonight Show, for their 5 minutes with Johnny Carson, they had to do that act around the country. They were at the Ha Ha Hole and the Laugh Factory and Chuckles and Riddles and Gimbals and Fiddles and all these clubs.
And Zanies, got to give them a shout out.
Zanies, they're at all these clubs, and they got to figure out what works and what doesn't. They take their lumps, they take their beatings, and they whittle it down to some time that works. And then, when they know what they're saying and they know what they're about and they know the timing, then when they get to Carson, then it's their chance. And if they blow that, then they really have to start from scratch because all the planning that went into it. Today, everybody wants to get on Carson or Oprah or whatever the metaphor is, and they haven't done the touring. They haven't taken the lumps. They haven't paid their dues. And not that you need to pay them for paying them's sake. Because, if you can hack that and do it quicker, I'm all for that. But you got to hack it the right way, and the right way is figuring out, like, well, what am I going to say? Like, what would be my message? Some business owners locally, they're like, well, I just need to advertise. I just need somebody to talk about my business. That's not the problem. You have people leaving your business. It's not sticky. There's a problem there. Fix that problem so those people stay longer. It's dinner time and your restaurant's empty. There's a problem. It's not because not enough people know about it. It's maybe because too many people know.
Good food, good service. Or like places that are crowded. Right. They say nobody, or Yogi Berra say nobody goes there because you can't get in. Something you just mentioned too, which I think is, I wonder what the statistics are, is books. I wonder how many people are, how many books are written a year, whatever the number may be. But that's a big, big thing that, I love to still pick up a paper book and read it. That was the first internet or message of communication besides writings on a wall, right?
Yeah.
In caves.
Yeah.
Is books.
It changed the game because it made information portable.
Yeah, before and even that, I mean, with the Kindle and ways to read it, but that writing of stuff is coming down.
I think it's popular. People go to video first. Smart people will go to reading and everything. And the real smart people that know that there's a bunch of people out there consuming content nonstop will go, okay, well, I'm going to do a show, and I'm going to talk about maybe the 10 tips for closing your real estate deal without any problems, if you're a lawyer. And you do it on video. You've got the audio. And now you've got the words that you spoke, you have those transcribed. Now you got a little booklet. You got 3 things. You got everything. You're like Fred Astaire. Like, didn't they call him like the triple threat? He could sing, he could dance, he could act. Or maybe that was Sinatra.
I don't know. It's a good question, though. But I know both of them could do all that.
Yeah. So when people that are in business or want to be entertainers or want to be blowhards and want to be popular and want to host shows, and that's the way you do it, is you get in front of a microphone, you get in front of a camera at the same time, and then you transcribe it. So now you got all 3, and then you publish it. You don't have to go through Random House or any of those companies anymore. You go right to Amazon.
Yeah.
Boom.
And you did tell me a big thing that's not a big overhead, whatever you want to call it, is just selling information. There's not product.
There's a lot of people, right? There's,
I mean, whether it's a book telling you about product or information.
We've had clients that sell supplements. In fact, a lot of the most successful clients that we've had on the radio, whether they host shows or run commercials, they sell vitamins and supplements. And it's very lucrative because they can mark them up and they can get good quality stuff, and you take it every day. Therefore, you reorder it every month. So you're not selling something once. Like a real estate agent, they sell you a house until you buy your next house 30 years from now, or maybe your kids do or whatever. That's it. One customer, one transaction. But the supplements are over and over and over. They call that a continuity program. The challenge with that stuff is you got inventory, you got returns. Mm-hmm. It's a little complicated. You got shipping. With information products, the knowledge that's in your head, Mr. Lawyer, Miss Real Estate Agent, Mr. Loan Officer, Dr. So-and-so. The knowledge that's in your head, people will pay for.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because we were talking yesterday with some friends about, remember the CD clubs where you'd sign
Yeah. You got like 100 of them for a penny first.
Yes.
But the scam is that they had you on a continuity program where they billed you every month and you got like 2 more CDs.
Yeah. I'm going to give you the cannolis now because we're running out of time.
These are the best.
I don't know whether to say thank you for having me. Thanks for being on the show. I don't know, but it's a great experience.
Thanks for having me.
All right, real quick. Oh, you're welcome. Real quick, where are you headed? What's in the near future for WCKG?
We're going to continue to push our Fox Sports on the radio, and we're going to work to get the future radio stars, whether they're sportscasters or professionals that want to get their knowledge out there, into the studios and help them launch their podcasts, whether it's just audio and video. There's a movement right now, and there's too many people that are sort of bogged down and held down by the, I don't know what to do next. We're just going to take care of it so that they can come in and sit down in the chair and do the show, and we'll handle the rest. So we're going to be working on that.
I wish you the best.
Thank you.
I can't stay here all day. I got to go. All right? Well, you think I'm going to sit here with you all day? I'm busy. I'm a busy guy. I'll see you later, man. Ciao.
Every single day, my mother was in the kitchen. My father cooked, too. He made a really good sauce. My mother made the best. The meatballs were like unbelievable. Forget about it. And all the greens, like the broccoli rabe and the dandelions, and we used to. And she'd cook the zucchinis, and she'd make a beautiful salad out of dandelions and fresh tomatoes. I'm proud to be an Italian American.
The Italian American heritage. Live it, love it, celebrate it.
I just showed a gentleman by the name of Nick Pappas, who was one of my first jobs, worked for him. And I've spent a long time trying to find him or his family just to make contact, share some memories. So if anybody out there remembers him or knows how to get a hold of him or his family, send me an email at busyguy.co. And I'd love to hear from, like I say, either him or his family. He used to go up and down the alleys selling produce, and mostly in the Austin district area in the city. And I'm just taking a good advantage of the show that I have to send that word out. If anybody can get a hold of me, I would love to hear from him or his family. His name was Nick Pappas, and as you can see on his truck, it said, "Ma, grab your bag, here comes Nick." So.
The cooking show is about cooking, but it is about the Italian culture and transmitting the Italian culture through the times from Italy, the immigrants that came here, and how it transcended, how it permeated the American culture. Italian culture is one of the greatest cultures in the world. I'm Italian and proud to be Italian American.
The Italian American heritage. Live it, love it, celebrate it.